What's going on YouTube? My name is Codith, and I'm bringing a new series to you guys that I have never seen anything on. It's called GEEKCRAFTing, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be inviting my family and friends onto this little skit type thing that I got going, where nerds and outdoorsmen can merge together. So we're going to be doing a lot of bushcraft stuff, catch and cooks, how-tos, all that good, fun-loving stuff that you do in outdoors, like camping, s'mores, wiener roast, all that good stuff. I want to bridge the gap between the people that are always outside compared to the people that are always inside. Let's just have fun with it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do enjoy it, feel free to leave a comment on your favorite activities outside, subscribe, and drop a like.
Here, Texas bullfrog. Yeah, that is a pretty big boy. Frog legs? I don't have good frog legs in a while. What is that? Sounds like somebody's on me. Where came from? Yellow Billy. Looks like a smallie. I cast out here at Pond 21 the other day, dude. Didn't catch anything except for a little stink pot. A turtle grabbed the worm right as soon as I was reeling it in. And plus, if I lose it, and I just lost it.
Riggedy, riggedy, wreck, son!
See where it is? Can we do this?
Today, what we're going to talk about, since this is our first episode, I'm going to talk about a game that hits home with me. And it is my #1 favorite game of all time, and it is called Final Fantasy VIII. February 11th, 1999 was the release date of Final Fantasy VIII. And the game just hits home with me, 110%. It's a game about students of SEED, which is like this college, high school, kind of military formal, and they're raising these kids that were like orphans, which the main protagonists, they're all orphans. That's like the big spin on everything. And they find out later on, you know, that they were all raised in the same exact orphanage together. And the headmaster of Balam Garden, which is the place where you start out at in Final Fantasy VIII, he was actually the head of the orphanage, and his wife Edea, there's a lot of different ways to pronounce her name, but they're a married couple, but she ends up becoming a sorceress, which she becomes a sorceress through Ultimecia, or Ultimika. Again, that's another name that, you know, people pronounce differently, but I say it as Ultimecia. But whenever Ultimecia was defeated, whenever a sorceress loses her life or her power or her source or whatever, it seeks out another person, and which just so happened to be Headmaster Sid's wife, Edea. And so she ends up being like the baddie and this and that, and I don't know, the story is just really, really awesome. It operates off of a system called the junction system, where you can dismantle cards and items and this and that, and basically you can break the game really early, super early, by obtaining like Squall's ultimate weapon right from the get-go. It's called Lionheart, which I just obtained it on my recent playthrough, which I'm not done with. But anyways, I got James with me here, which is my cousin, and on Twitch he is known as the only Captain Murica. And Final Fantasy VIII is one of his favorite games as well. So like everybody else is like, oh, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy VIII is the best Final Fantasy of all time, nerds. But yeah, I mean, where should we start, James?
I don't know. Starting off, I wish Final Fantasy VIII would get the recognition it deserves, because it is the best story out of all of them, in my personal opinion.
I agree.
It's a very long game. There is so much of the story, and it really hits you in the heart, too.
Mm-hmm. There's four discs, right?
Yeah, I believe there was 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think for Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy IX, there was only like 3 discs or something like... No, Final Fantasy IX, there was 4.
Yeah, there was 4.
But Final Fantasy VIII, there was definitely 4.
Yeah. God, I remember that. I remember I was a kid. I got so mad because I scratched the 4th CD.
Oof.
And I couldn't finish my playthrough again. I got so mad. Made my dad go buy me another one.
Well, I mean, losing out on Final Fantasy VIII, man, that's something that you don't want to do. It's just such a good game. Like, you got the GF system, the Guardians, Guardian Forces system, which is like essentially your summons and all that good stuff. But by equipping them to your characters, it unlocks certain like boosting abilities for you for like your magic, your health, your magic defense, your added effects, your speed, hit, blah blah blah, just all that good stuff, man. It's whenever I said earlier that the game is easily broken,
yes,
it is easily broken.
I believe your first Guardian Force is Ifrit, isn't it?
No, that's the first obtainable one that you got to do on a seed mission. So where it teaches you about how to get them. But your first two, right as soon as you start the game, you access the seed terminal, the computer, and you go to the tutorial for GFs, and it slots you with Quetzalcoatl and Shiva.
Yeah. The ice, Shiva is ice, and Quetzalcoatl was lightning.
Mm-hmm. Which
looks so cool too.
Which you can farm very early on before you even go into the Ifrit cave to get the card mod, which is an ability in the game, and it allows you to refine monsters out in the world into cards, which then you break down the cards into specific magics, again leading to breaking the game early on. So that's a 10-10 must do right off the bat. Not if you're playing the game for the first time, I just highly suggest you to play the game how it's meant. Don't go breaking anything. Don't do this and that. You know, just enjoy the story. Yourself. Yeah. Like the story is just so phenomenal in that game. For example, the crossover with Laguna, Ward, and Kairos. Laguna is a character in the game that it doesn't specifically say it, but he's Squall's dad. Is it Squall's dad or uncle? I think it's his dad. I can't remember.
I think it's his dad.
Yeah. And so, like, throughout the game, you'll have these, like, encounters where it takes you to the past, and you are playing Laguna, Ward, and Kairos, getting some of the backstory and such, which is really, really awesome, man. It does a lot to unpack the story and get you more emotionally connected to the characters.
Yeah.
So like that's another thing. We're just basically talking about this game. Like, we're not covering any kind of like bases or this and that whenever it comes to it. We're just trying to create content, you know, for
my favorite character was Irving.
What is it?
My favorite character was Irving, the cowboy.
He was a cocky butthole.
Loved him.
And he is a ladies' man. Actually, he was the opposite of ladies' man. He tried and tried. He was just a little engine that could not.
He's like Johnny Bravo in a way.
Sort of. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good comparison. Final Fantasy VIII, for me, personally, is my favorite game of all time because it got me through some super dark times as a teenager. The game has so much replayability. No matter how many times that you beat the game, like, you find yourself wanting to go back and play it more and more and more, just like your favorite game. You know, a lot of people prefer like FPSs and battle royales and stuff like that nowadays, MOBAs. With my generation growing up, this was before like multiplayer and all that, unless you were playing split screen on like regular Xbox or like Halo or something. But for most of us that, you know, are into our early 30s through 40s, all that we had was story driven games.
Yes.
So, and like this was before we really had access to the internet. So we had to go to the store and like buy the guides and all that stuff.
Yes.
But
it's 10-pound books.
yeah, but it was totally worth it. Super totally worth it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just talking about Final Fantasy VIII just because like it's a game that hits home with a lot of people, and with a lot of people, again, they hate it, absolutely hate it, and that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I mean, obviously, some people stupid. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. We're calling this geek crafting because we're trying to bring two different communities together. Those that like to be outdoors and stuff and don't really understand video games, and then the indoors type that play video games that don't really get outdoors. So we're trying to bridge that gap. And
if you love survival games, you could see going outdoors as leveling your survival ability.
yeah, there's actually a YouTuber by the name of Ace, and he has a really awesome not idea, but it's his brand. It's called Level Up in Real Life, because he spent a lot of time playing Runecraft, or not Runecraft. What is it called? RuneScape. Runecraft. But he said that he spent so much time on there doing this and doing that and leveling up and all this stuff, whenever he should have been spending more time leveling up in real life. So I like that. I really, really do like that. But some people like James and I here, we level up in both an alternate reality, a digital reality, if you would. And, well, no, I guess it wouldn't even be a reality. It would just be digitally, online.
It is a reality to some.
Our avatars. We're leveling up our avatars, but we're also getting out and doing the things that we really love. You know, so
that's how we grew up. We grew up outside, and then we were introduced to video games. You know, like my parents would just say, "Hey, go play in the woods." Okay, cool. Then the PlayStation came out. then that's when my little geek phase began.
Right. But I started out on Atari, Nintendo, and Super Nintendo.
Well, yeah, I did have the Nintendo as well, but I didn't game as much when I had the Nintendo.
I spent majority of my childhood outside, eating dirt, rocks.
Me too.
Yep. Climbing trees, falling out of it, spraining my ankle, gouging my eyeballs out with sticks, you know.
I used to read books too, so I've read Lord of the Rings, and I used to pretend that trees were Ents, and I was fighting them.
Nerd. What's a book? I'm
right. It's this thing. It's got papers with words in it. I don't understand. Somehow you're supposed to make that into an imaginary movie in your head.
Yeah, I can see that.
Again, story-driven games, I basically see them as an interactive movie where you're the star in a way.
This is true. There's a couple YouTubers that I watch that, I mean, they deserve all the recognition in the world for being absolutely fantastic guys, for really encouraging people to get outside and to experience life. One is Fowler's Mischief and Makery, which Zach Fowler, that's his channel. And then there's the Wooded Beardsman, Ace, let's see, Matthew Poza, Joe Robinette.
Hold up. Did you say the wooded beardsman?
Yes, dude. He's
Is
a
that-
Canadian and he's awesome. He even shows you how to make maple syrup. And
That's amazing.
Andy's fishing. Like I absolutely love these guys. They are a huge inspiration to me. I would not have even created this kind of content if it were not for them. I never thought of it. I don't know, man. I owe a lot of that to them. So down in the description below will be links to their YouTube channels and stuff. So where, you guys can really get the full effect of what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to become, while adding my own flair to it. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this. What is this? Episode 1, introductions.
Yes.
That's going to be it for this. And until next time, I don't have an outro.
Goodbye, yet.
Yeah. So thank you guys for taking the time to watch the videos. We love you. Thank you. Hope you have an amazing day, night, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And until next time, take it easy.
It's Jameson and Codith.
I also stream on a platform called Twitch, and you can find me at twitch.tv/Codith. And what I do is I stream a variety of games, mainly RPGs or World of Warcraft and Smite, but I play pretty much everything. You can find me on Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays around noon to 6 p.m., give or take. Hopefully, I see you there.